Hey guys and girls, my name's Dan, welcome back to Forge. In this episode of Trust Me, I'm Blacksmith. Let's talk about how to swing a hammer properly. In this video I'm going to be making this hammer for John from Black Bear Forge. Basically it's a striker's hammer. I watched one of his videos the other day and saw a very lovely sledgehammer he had, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to make John a hammer. And this is the thing that I've made. It's a sort of a Bruce Wilcox-esque style striker's hammer. It's a bit on the light side. It could do with being probably 2 pounds heavier. It's about 5 pounds, this one. But it will do the job. It's to be swung fast and accurately. But in this video I'd like to talk to you guys a little bit about how you can help prevent yourself from injuring yourself while swinging a hammer. I'm going to do a few little videos where I talk about hammer etiquette and things that you should and shouldn't do with hammering whilst using your hammer. And also I'd just like to apologise, this video should have come out yesterday but it didn't because I had some problems with the sound. But it's all sorted now, I hope. Yeah, anyway, enjoy the video. I'll see you in a minute. Yeah, little one. Yeah. Again. Yep. Yep. Oh. Yep. Yep. So, first thing I'd just like to say is I am not a physician, I'm not a doctor. The evidence I've found is stuff that I found online and learnt about myself. You're more than welcome to go and research this stuff yourself as well. And I'm using information that I found that relates to the subject, i.e. tennis elbow, golfer's elbow, so on and so forth. If you are suffering from any pain whatsoever, I'm not the person to talk to. You need to talk to your doctor. Okay, so injuries. What kind of injuries do blacksmiths get? I'm going to talk about tendinitis, or golfers, or tennis elbow, and I'm also going to talk about carpal tunnel. You hear these things a lot in our trade, people talking about tennis elbow, or tendinitis is the proper term, or carpal tunnel. These injuries are caused by poor use of hammers, or incorrect use of hammers, or incorrect swings and so on and so forth. A lot of this stuff can be avoided from scratch, and that's the point of this video. There are very many different types of swinging techniques. You've got your Brian Russell styles, you've got your standard like Victorian / classic European style, and you've also got your Yuri Hoffy style, and there are many more. You've got your blacksmiths like Bruce Bailey, who swings around a 7-pound hammer, which is ridiculous, and if you ask him would he advise a new blacksmith to do this, he would almost 100% say no. That's something that you need to build up to. What is carpal tunnel and what causes it? Well, carpal tunnel is the carpal tunnel is an area in your wrist. It's just here, and basically what you have is you have tendons and nerves that pass through a set of muscle and some bone behind it, and then there is a ligament that joins the two muscles together at the front here. And what happens is you strain this part of the hand, you get swelling in the muscles, and this puts pressure on the tendons and the nerves that run through that part of the carpal tunnel. In fact, the only tendon that doesn't run through the carpal tunnel is your little finger. And it can cause that pain, that gripping tight pain that you get sometimes after you swung a hammer too much. You get pain in your wrist, it can be quite sore, especially impacts can irritate it, and the rotation motion is painful to do. So carpal tunnel is really easily fixed if it is a problem. It's easily fixed because you can just rest and that will go away over time. But if it continues to plague you, I believe you can have keyhole surgery, and they put a little hole in your elbow and they go up and they snip the carpal tunnel, the ligament there, and that releases the pressure, and apparently it's almost instant relief from the pain. But it's something, again, you need to talk to your doctor about if you are suffering from any pain in your wrist. The second thing that a lot of people suffer with is tendinitis. Now, tendinitis is the damage done to your tendons. And what is this? Well, day-to-day use of your arms and your muscles and your bones and your tendons, you get little tiny rips and micro fractures, micro tears in those muscles and the tendons. And that's natural, that's perfectly natural, and it can take up to about 3 days for those little tiny repairs to fix themselves. Unless you do lots of damage, and this is where the problem comes. If you do loads and loads of damage to those tendons, you can put lots and lots of tears in those microfibers. It takes a very long time to heal that injury, and your body responds by causing swelling and pain to try and get you to stop using. And how can we fix this? Well, rest, unfortunately, is pretty much the only way to fix the damage to the tendons. Now, how long does that take? Well, it depends on how much damage you've done. It typically takes anywhere between 6 weeks to 3 months for that repair to happen. But if you've done a good enough job, it can take anywhere from 6 months to 2 years, if not last your entire life. It really does depend on the injury that you've created. So what causes carpal tunnel? Well, carpal tunnel is generally caused by over-gripping, by putting too much strain on the wrist, and this can quite often be caused by a few little simple things. either you're holding your hammer too tight, which is really, really bad. You're wearing gloves. You have to grip a lot harder to hold a hammer handle whilst wearing gloves because you can't actually feel the handle, you're just feeling the gloves and you don't know what's going on. And the second thing is handles that are too big. If you're holding something like this as opposed to like this, it's going to cause you some real issues when it comes to swinging a hammer. What causes tendinitis? Well, tendinitis is caused by shock loading those tendons, causing those rips to happen in mass. Basically that's one of three things again. It's either your hammer is too big, too heavy, you're putting too much force into your swing, so you're doing sort of like a punching motion while you're swinging, or, which could also be one of the more common ones, is that your anvil is probably too low for you. Now, with all these injuries, it's important to realise that individual injuries occur with individuals. Some people can use 7-pound hammers and not have any injuries all day, and some people can't. Some people like long handles and get away with the problems that come with that, and some people can't. It just depends on who you are and your body type and the way that you're made up, and unfortunately that's life. And it also depends on the technique and style that you've picked up. And it doesn't matter which one it is, they all have their problems. This is considered a repetitive strain injury. These are injuries caused by the prolonged use of something incorrectly. So how can you prevent injuries? Well, it's really very simple. The first thing that you want to do is set up your anvil at a nice height. I will go over that in a later video, but basically if you're over swinging, you're pretty much guaranteed you're going to start stretching that arm out and causing some damage to those tendons. And you want a nice a reasonably narrow handle. This depends on the person and the individual and the size of your body, but I would suggest that being able to put your fingers on the inside of the large muscle at the bottom of your thumb is probably just about right. This will allow you a nice good swing. Loose grip, you want a nice swingy action with your hammer. You don't want to be gripping on really tight for dear life and swinging like that. It's going to tighten up your wrist. It's going to tighten up your arm, and this punching motion that people do, and just relying on the kinetic energy that you're putting into that hammer is almost enough. You lifting that up and then accelerating that hammer through is probably going to give you enough of a blow for you to do the work that you need to do. So yeah, basically that will help prevent carpal tunnel for the most part. And also get a hammer that's the right size for you, and get a handle length that's the right size for you. I'm going to make a statement now, and I don't want anyone to get upset by this. I personally would recommend starting with a 1.5-pound hammer, and then as you progress, use that for about 4 or 5 weeks, see how you get on. If it's still a bit small for you and you think you can go a bit heavier, go to 2, and again go to 2.5 and maybe 3. I would suggest if you're going to start picking up big hammers and you're going to be using them a lot, get a shorter handle. the statement that I'm basically making is small hammer, long handle. This will give you the most effective use of that hammer, or big hammer, small handle, and hopefully that will protect you somewhat against that larger hammer injury that can occur. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it for you. I really enjoyed making this hammer. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you kind of understand what I was saying about in the video. If you disagree with me, that's fine. Chuck it down in the comments, let me know. But I would just like to reiterate, everyone is an individual. We're all different. Some people can pick a £7 hammer up and use it for the rest of their lives. Some people can pick it up, swing it for a day, and have an injury for the rest of their lives. That's really important for people to bear in mind. These things can happen instantaneously, and that's it. Once they've happened, they can ruin your career, and I'm looking to help prolong people's careers as much as possible. That's why I'm sharing this information. If you did enjoy this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and if you are a subscriber, please ring that bell for notifications. Chuck down in the comments down below what you thought of this video, what you thought of my ideas, what you thought of John's new hammer, which I'm going to send to him very shortly, and that is everything. So I'll leave a link up here to a video I made originally on this hammer thing. I will leave another video down here on something else related to the subject. This is my Patreon, go check that out. Great way to support the channel. And this here is my is the subscribe button. Click that. Cheers. Thanks guys. Bye bye.